Hello, my name is Todd Silvius, and thanks for downloading this professional development video tutorial on the Compass Learning Odyssey platform. This tutorial today is going to show you how to run a student progress report from the Reports menu. And we're simply going to get to how to set the report parameters so that we can generate this report. In the following tutorial, we'll actually look at generating the student progress report and how to sort the data that we receive from that report, and then how we can export that information and that data out of the system to share with external users. So for now, let's just get started with setting report parameters for student progress reports. We'll do that by jumping over to my teacher account in Compass. Now you can see over here under my teacher account I have one classroom set up. This classroom is called Student Monitoring. And again, the importance of and how to set up classes in your system can be found on an earlier tutorial in this tutorial series. That will be under the Setup menu / My Classes if you want to learn more information about the importance of setting up classes there. Today, for running reports, we can see if we go inside the Student Monitoring class, I have 3 students here. These students are in different grade levels, and they may have been assigned curriculum by me, or they might be in this student monitoring class I set up because they are assigned curriculum by another teacher, and I simply want to be able to access that information, that report information based on that student. A practical example of this would be if perhaps I am offering the student additional help, and to guide that student appropriately, I would want to see how their attempts at remediation in the system, so I would know what they've been working on, and when we meet next time for our tutoring session, I could guide them and show them possibly where they're making some mistakes and offer them some additional help with their work in Compass. So having students in a generic student monitoring account has been really handy in my experiences, and you might find it to be handy for yours too. So whether you've assigned curriculum or not, if you want to access their progress, drop them in one of your classes. Mine happens to be called Student Monitoring. Okay, a little bit about the importance of setting up classes right there, but we're going to head on over to our Reports menu right now and drag down to Progress Reports, and then fly out to Student Progress. Now before we get here, you can see there are a lot of different reports that you can run. Every one of these report submenus has a sub-menu too, an additional flyout report that you can run. However, we're interested today for this tutorial in the Reports, Progress Reports, and then Student Progress Report. So select that, please, and it'll take you to the Setup Wizard here. This is a 5-step process that you'll be walked through, and I'll give you a little overview of each one of these areas now. Click on Next, and you can see that we have to select parameters for the curriculum and selecting parameters for the grade levels right now. Typically with this report setup, clicking Next, 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 and leaving the defaults as they are will help you get the job done without too much thought on each area. For example, I want to get all the progress for that anonymous student account there in all of the areas that he is studying. Now, I happen to know that I'm interested particularly in the physical science area and that physical science curriculum for that student, so I can go up to the top of the list and clear all, come down to physical science, and perhaps they're also taking biology, and I want to see the progress in biology, and I could pinpoint and really target the curriculum areas for that if I wanted to take the time. Or, like I mentioned before, leaving Select All, I'll be able to see that those curricular areas will be included in my report. That's what I want. Same thing with grade level. I know that that particular student is in 9th grade. However, I don't have to clear all and then select 9th grade. Adding 2 more steps to my report running progress, I can leave the default as it is. And again, when I come to this screen next time for this report, simply click Next, and I know the system will run a report and display the information I need. Where you might want to adjust some of the parameters manually is on this third screen here, not leaving the defaults as they are. For example, the default is set to take a look back 1 week from today's date. So at a week at a glance, a weekly report, which is what a cyber teacher would want to send home or share with a parent or with a student for updates. The system is set to display that right away. However, I'm interested in the progress from June 1st, 2009 for this particular student account to June 1st, 2010 for this particular student account. The Show Summaries area right here may or may not interest you. The Summaries area is an area on the report that averages all of the quiz attempts together, like in a traditional grading system, and displays an average quiz grade. It also does that for the tests and displays an average test grade. Now, depending on with whom you are sharing this report, that might want to be left off of your report. For example, if I'm sharing this report with a student in a standards-based grading environment, if I leave the summaries on, the student is going to see an average of quizzes. And we know in standards-based grading that, that's not how it goes. So to avoid student confusion, if I'm sharing this report with a student, I would turn off the summaries at this option. If I'm sharing this report with a parent, if I'm emailing home the PDF version, and we'll see how to do that in the next video tutorial. If I'm emailing this with a parent, I would want to turn off the reports or the show summaries, because I do not grade in standards-based grading by averages. However, if I'm sharing this with a colleague, or if I just want to get a pulse or an overall view of how the kid is doing in their progress, for my personal reasons as a teacher, knowing the importance and the non-importance of summaries and traditional-based grading practices in a standards-based grading environment, I could just leave the default as is. But again, sharing with a parent or a student, you might want to turn it off to avoid the student and parent confusion. So the include data from previous schools, this information here is set up for student users who moved into our school district and with them brought a batch or an exported module, if you will, of data from their school district's Compass Learning Odyssey account. What can happen is when the student leaves one school district and migrates to another school district, they can bring with them a packet of information that Compass can download and export from the sending school district and upload and import into the receiving school district's account to have ready and for that student to continue in their account just like they were in their previous school district. Again, leaving this yes or no, the default, it won't convolute or confuse the report if you just simply leave this as yes, and if you know the student has always been with our school district. So again, leaving the default as is usually is fine. Here we can decide how we're going to run reports and the activities by assignment or by type. Again, usually by type, that's fine. You can run the chapter tests, quizzes, learning activities, object-based tests, and Odyssey Writer project reports right from here. However, by clicking over on assignment, you can see the different assignments this particular student has had in their history, and you can adjust parameters for that. I'm going to leave it as assignment type because, again, that usually the default runs the information that would be very useful to me. And then click on Next to go to the next screen. And this fourth stage of the wizard allows me to glimpse inside of my classes structure. And this is where the importance of setting up your classes carefully really comes in handy. Because what I can do is, for this tutorial that I'm showing you now, I know I just want this anonymous students report. However, if I wanted to see all of these students, maybe there are 20 in this class, instead of check, 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 I can batch process with a single checkbox and run reports on all of the students at one time with one checkbox. If I had multiple classes with multiple students and I wanted to batch process that report, Simply clicking on My Classes, you can see will populate the boxes with check marks. And you can imagine for additional classes that I had here, this is how I would efficiently batch process a student report for all the students I am watching and monitoring in my Compass Learning account. So again, setting up your classrooms and taking the time to do that in your account can be very beneficial at this end of the student reporting process. This area here for attaching attributes to your students is very useful if you're running reports on Title I Math or Reading and applying filters as such, but again, leaving the default set with no checkboxes in them will again allow you to get the information you need. So I'm going to clear all my classes, and I'm just going to run this student report on this anonymous student and then hit next. And this confirmation screen here just simply reports to you all the parameters you've set in the prior 4 steps of this wizard. If any one of these is different than what you wanted, using the edit button can jump you back to that particular stage in the wizard, so you can tweak those settings and report to this area where you would then generate the report. And that's what we're going to do next in our next tutorial. So today, for this particular part of this report running tutorial, we're simply setting report parameters for student progress reports, and from there we're going to, in the next tutorial you're going to see, is generate the reports, sort the data, and then I'll show you how to export that report as well. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and I hope to see you on the next